Go for it. Go for it. Well, it's been a few weeks, but it's time for episode 2 of Pride of the East. We've left the Soulsby residence out in Mitcham, and now we're in Zerby's Reserve, the club rooms and home of the Doncaster East Football Club, the Lions. And I'm joined, as always, and it will be for the rest of the year, Peter Soulsby, the president of Doncaster East. It's great to be back inside the club rooms. It almost feels like we're playing, although we're not.
Yeah, unfortunately not, Benny, but exciting show ahead with Simon White, the club captain this year, but obviously he doesn't get to do that. And then a major sponsor in Jared Lucas, who's also a 2-time best and fairest player at this club. Both won 2 best and fairest actually. Great to speak to them and give Jazz a bit of a plug as well about his business.
Yeah, absolutely. And this show will go on for a long, long time before we run out of household and fantastic names and club champions to speak to, whether it be in sponsorship or just continual club involvement. Just a quick word on what's happened with the season. Obviously, everyone knows it's the EFL called it. They called it pretty early with the Northern Football League to call it quits on season 2020. What's evolved in recent times is it's just going to be hard for anyone to play. So although however disappointing it is, it's the safest and best option for everybody.
It is what it is. Obviously, we're very, very keen to play, and I made that well known to the EFL that I thought they called it early. This spike is probably, obviously they had a crystal ball because I'm sure footy would have gone ahead if it didn't. There's still other leagues saying they will. We've been really lucky with our players that are still keen to play at Donny East in 221 and looking forward to having a kick at training occasionally. But Ben, as I said, it is what it is. It's good to be back in the rooms with a few of the boys and just, enjoying what community footy is about. Unfortunately, there's no footy, but I'm sure we'll get through.
We will get through, and the show will go on, the Pride of the East, and also Lions Legacies. There's a great episode of that coming up as well. But when we come back, we'll be speaking to the skipper of the Doncaster East Football Club, Simon White, and we can't wait to hear what Simon says. Episode 2 of Pride of the East, and an extra special guest we've got tonight. It is the skipper of the Doncaster East Football Club, although they're not going to be able to run out in the park in 2020. But he's almost made himself a bit of a club legend over the last few seasons that he's played, a dual premiership player, and now the skipper. It's very good. Big welcome, I should say, to Simon White. Give us a fist bump for Whitey.
COVID safe.
Great to have you. We got to do that. And it's great to be back in the club rooms of Zerby's. It must be great for you to walk in the doors as well, albeit that you'd love to just be out there training the house down on the park and playing footy, wouldn't you?
Thanks, Benny. Thanks for the intro and Sours. I am. I'm really excited to come back tonight and walking out the field. I was just watching the under-19s train, and I'm a bit jealous, to be honest. It's a nice night, running around kicking the footy. So I'd love to be out there, but very disappointed.
It is disappointing, but I suppose such is life. At the end of the day, the league made a call on it, which could be seen as an early crow, but. What's come out in the wash in the last couple of weeks is it's going to be pretty much that no one will be playing football, and so we just have to suck it up and deal with it. What do you do as the leader of this football club now? What does your role play off the field with keeping this group tight knit, this group together? Because at the end of the day, you remain the premiers, and you'll reach season 2021 exactly the same and raring to go.
Yeah, that's it, Benny. I think. That's obviously been the test over the last few weeks, and when we went through the real trough of the COVID virus and how to keep people connected and feeling like they were a part of the club, making sure they were looking after themselves. Obviously, mentally is probably the most important, or is the most important, but physically as well. And trying to do a little bit of running, trying to touch the footies as much as possible has been a challenge. But I'm really proud of the way the boys have bought into that. We've had to pull it back probably a couple of times where we've thought, we're a chance to train in tens and get back out in the field. And the guys have been really agile and really fluid with what we've been wanting to do. And you can just tell guys are keen to play, guys are keen to train. So I don't think whenever we can, I don't think it's going to be an issue getting guys back on the park. Mm-hmm. So as we sort of go towards the end of the year, who knows what will happen with the ability to come back out here and train. But I know Buxy and the rest of the coaches, we're really keen to get maybe a Thursday going, training, have a couple of pracky games if we get the chance to, in intra-club games, and just really keep the vibe going and look forward to 2021.
I think as well, it's, I mean, as much as we want to be playing in that, it's, I shouldn't say we all want to play footy, but having the year off after 2 pretty heavy years with, being successful, we can sort of all regroup and then hit the ground running 2021. 9 rounds would have been pretty tough, with all the rules that were going to be in place. I mean, the club was prepared to do it, but I think there is light at the end of the tunnel for 2021 to hit the ground running from a club point of view and probably the player point of view. I know the older guys, when it was coming to maybe a round robin and that, well, let's rest the bodies and let's regroup for 2021. That's pretty much what it was, wasn't it, Whitey?
I think so. If you look at, the AFL is obviously the pinnacle of our sport, and when you look at the troubles that they've had getting going, and obviously the last week in particular with the Essendon case, whether or not it's a positive case or a negative case, who knows? But the challenges that we'd face with, we don't have the same access to, looking after players in what they do, and it would have been really tough. I think, a 9-game season, while it sounds great, like the AFL season will be looked on as an asterisk, and this definitely would have been as a 9-game season. Do you play everyone sort of once? Who gets the home ground one more often? Like, there's a lot of different things that come into it. It would have been nice to play. And then the round robin competition is a great idea, but I think we'd all love to just play for points and not risk injury for something that's not for points. And the guys that I've spoken to are really keen for 2021 and carrying on our winning ways as we have the last couple of years.
Whitey, now let's speak about where you've come from, where you got to, obviously playing at Carlton, but all the way back you're a Subiaco boy, is that correct? So you grew up in Perth. Whereabouts in Perth and school? What school did you go to?
Perth boy. I went to St Stephen's School in Duncraig.
Was that a sporty sort of school? Was it?
It wasn't. No, not at all. So I was, and Chris Phelan will attest to this. I was really small. I didn't play any state football when I was younger. Missed a lot of the sort of the Subiaco sort of sides coming up, 13s, 14s, 15s, and had a bit of a growth spurt sort of towards 17 and 18. So played Colts, which is under 18s, at Subiaco, and we had a pretty strong senior side at that stage. The senior side had won 3 flags in a row, so I'd played a couple of years of reserves, had a few injuries, but had to really sort of work our way up. We had, at that stage, we still had West Coast players playing with us. They were sort of part of they'd come back and play with us when they went in the AFL. So we had Chad Fletcher, Daniel Chick, Tyson Stengline, all part of our senior team. Phil Reid was part of our senior team. So it was, we were certainly made to earn our spot. The younger guys coming up. But I think that's, I was 21 when I got drafted. I had a couple of years of uni under my belt, which I think really taught me a valuable lesson when I went to the AFL.
I know that you were drafted, and same as Rowie, and I look at you guys, and not saying the other guys aren't, but you've got your head screwed on, you've got careers after. Is it AFL? Do you think it should be a later draft?
Well, I think, Rowie, I mean this no disrespect to him, we were never going to be stars of the competition, so... when you're always on the edge of playing or not playing, and genuine role players, and you had to think that footy was going to end pretty soon. I had a heap of injuries, and I knew that footy wasn't going to last forever. I was lucky enough that I'd been at uni. I'd worked a heap of sort of odd jobs. I worked for what's his name? I've got his name now. One of the old West Coast players, laying ceiling bats in roofs and. So when I got to AFL, and I thought I want to use this time as much as I can, the day off we had, to finish my uni degree, to do some work experience, to use the networks that Carlton had, one of the best networks going around, and utilise my position at that time.
And then you went to Carlton. Obviously, you picked up in a rookie draft, and you won the flag for Subiaco. Is that right? Is it?
2009 we got beaten by a South Fremantle team that had Peter Bell, Paul Hazelby, Jeff Farmer, a heap of the Freo guys. So
Yeah.
it was so we lost that by a few goals, but got picked up at the end of 2009 in the rookie draft. So I think I was the last pick of the rookie draft. I was deep.
Then move to Melbourne, and you get the famous number 43. How did you take that after? Was that up straight up? No, Cooter would have played. There would have been someone else.
No, there was no one after that. So Cooter gave me his jumper alongside a signed version of his book.
And a Crystal Lucky.
Yeah, well, I think the Super Lucky hadn't gone under at that stage. But he's always reminded me that the jumper would always be his, and rightly so. He was an absolute star, and had a great following, and certainly there was a lot of 43s around when I was playing, but they certainly weren't for me. But yeah, it was a great honour. He was obviously a Carlton hero and a great player.
What was the draw card that brought you down to Doncaster East Football Club post AFL career?
Yeah, good question. I obviously really good friends with Mark Murphy, and I'd known Pete for years through Murph, and had heard about the club and that Lee had played here for years. But at that stage, I was really close with Brock McLean.
They were working together?
Yeah, we were working together. So he said, what are you thinking footy-wise? And I'd had a bit of a hate with football at that stage. I'd left Carlton. I didn't overly get along with the coach at the time, and I was happy that my time was up, but I wasn't sure, football-wise, if I wanted to go again. I just had another knee surgery, but Brock said, great bunch of guys, come down, have a train, and I'd trained at a few different clubs at that stage. I came down here, and I remember coming down, and a few of the clubs I went to, it was all really jovial and nice, and run around and footy training. I came down here and got the piss pulled out of me for 45 minutes by Mika Stephen. I thought this is the place for me. So there you go.
Yeah, and so you played here 2 years, won 2 best and fairest, won 2 premierships. I know you're obviously you'd take the premierships over any time over the best and fairest, but you said you lost your love for footy. You actually didn't enjoy footy at all, did you? Like right at the end of it, Carlton weren't winning. You had a bit of a hard time, as you said, with the coach, and you just lost every bit of passion towards playing at the top level, probably, I guess.
I think it just became at the stage of my footy career, and you're well aware that when the team isn't performing and we're at the bottom of the ladder and you're towards the older age, doesn't matter how good you can play, you're probably going to miss out to a younger guy, and that's the way it is. I understood that. But honesty was also really, really high off my book, and I didn't think I was being treated somewhat honestly at sometimes and told the right thing. So had a few disagreements. I was over footy a little bit. But coming down here and train, I've always loved training. I love, I've never thought I wanted to be a coach or anything like that. And I said to you, I just want to come down and just run around and sort of then leave. And it just became coming down, and you just feel more involved and you want to get more involved, and you see how keen guys are to learn, and that's something I really picked up. And we've got some really good young guys that have been really receptive to what I say and have asked questions, and just a thirst for knowledge has made it really, really enjoyable to be down here.
What Simon says goes?
Well, maybe not always, but say do as I say, not as I do. Maybe on the footy
Him and
field.
Brock had a couple of heat arguments out training. It was great. Just to see his boss, but Simon does get.
I want to talk about when we came down and did a video in pre-season, and we had a chat on the ground, but up in the club rooms, it was a real steely moment walking in, where it looked like you and some of the senior leadership team had got the whole playing group around in a big circle, and it was an amazing chat you had with the playing group at that point in time, and about to embark on, this is pre-COVID of course, what the journey that the club had gone on and what was to come in the next year. Talk to us about that and the motive and the response that you got from the playing group by having that chat that was led by yourself and the other senior leaders of the footy club.
Yeah, look, I think at the start of pre-season, or sort of just after Christmas at that time, I think it was really important, and Mav's come on board, and he's just come from probably, you know, the most successful club in terms of culture at the moment in the AFL in Richmond, and the lessons he's learned there are, you know, something that I've learned a lot off Mav. I've only known him for 6 months, but I feel like I've known him for years. But we really thought we'd get together, and Bucksy, to his credit, just let us take over and really drive it as a player-driven meeting. But it was more about goal setting, expectations going into the year. I think any time where a coach stands at the front and just says, you know, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to strive towards, it's sometimes hard to picture for guys, but if they have an input in that, if they can voice their opinions, and if they can understand that it's going to be players driving us from now on, and probably the younger guys that are really going to push the older guys, we'll try and set the tone, but they're the guys that are going to bring the exuberance and the youth in, and they're what's going to make us better. So the meeting was based on, you know, the old setting values and some expectations, and basically, what do you want to get out of the season? Yeah, we've won 2 flags. We would have liked to be elevated or promoted the year before. It didn't happen, so we go back and we win again, and everyone thought that was just going to happen, but that was still a really hard season that we went through.
That's got done in the second semi.
In the second semi. It was just about setting some expectations and getting some real buy-in for training standards from the team.
And Whitey, so off-field work-wise, you're what's the company? You better give it a plug. What's it called?
Don't know, give it a plug. Paradigm Biopharmaceuticals. We're a listed company in the ASX, and we're developing a drug for osteoarthritis.
Yeah, and obviously you've been successful off-field. Did you work the whole time when you were at Carlton, or?
After I'd finished my uni degree,
So are you a chemist?
No, I'm not a chemist. Not quite. I work more on the corporate side of the company. I fractured my neck in 2013, and I had I think about 8 months I couldn't do any contact at that stage, and it was looking like footy might have been over for me. So I sat down, and I remember setting some, what do you want to get out? I was lucky enough to get another year with the Blues, but at that stage I was like, if I finish today, I haven't really set myself up well at all. Yeah, I've got a uni degree, but can't really step into anything. I haven't utilised sort of the network, so maybe it was a bit shy at that stage, thinking that some of the Carlton faithful would only want to talk to the guns, the Bryce Gibbs, the Mark Murphys, Juddy, all that sort of thing. So I made a real point from that point on to go buy coffee for one of the members or one of the supporters, sponsors, learn about what they do, try and connect with some of those people. I ended up working at a stockbroking firm at that stage, a day a week on our day off, and I think my footy actually improved off that, because I was being mentally stimulated, not thinking about footy day in, day out. Am I going to get picked? Am I not? I got along with Mick Malthouse really well at that stage, and while Mick didn't pick me all the time, he really cared about you as a person, and he was really great for me about building sort of what I'm towards where I am now.
Yeah, great.
AFL, you would have played on Buddy Franklin, Nick Rewald, all these. Who's the best you played on? That might be. You could play on smalls too.
Yeah, no. Look, I went through the middle at one stage and tagged and played on Dusty and Fifey and Pendlebury. And Scotty Pendlebury's probably the hardest midfielder I've played on. He was just really, really smart. And Dusty is an absolute gun, and as Fifey is, but. I think I just got taught an absolute lesson by Scott Pendlebury one day. Played on Nick Malcheski I was a defensive forward, and he was just at the same thing. He was just so smart. Where he would run, the people he'd get to block for him, really smart. But I think the best I played on is by far is Buddy. He was the athletic, prowess that he has, the length in his arms when he pushed off, his smarts, and just could kick him from anywhere. So. And I think I got 6 kicked on me one day, and then Rowie had to go on to him. So there you go. So Rowie saved me arms.
And best you played with, Juddy obviously would be up there. You always hear about Juddy, but other ones like obviously Mark's good mate of yourself and mine. Like, he's obviously been a great player for that footy club for a long time.
Yep.
Probably,
Yep.
I mean, Judd was carrying him, but Mark would also.
Yeah.
He won the Players Award.
2011 was one of our best seasons, our best seasons for Carlton for a number of years. That was an incredible season by him. He won all the awards. He was unstoppable that year, Murph. Juddy clearly. I think, Simo's been my favourite player down there. Just the way he just keeps rocking up, doesn't get.
Keeps calling me.
Yeah. But I think the biggest help for me over my career was Andrew Carazzo. He's while he wasn't the most flashy player, he was the hardest worker. Had the locker next to him for a number of years. The input he had on my career and the way he would concentrate on games, learn about his opposition. I took a huge amount for him for. So Andy Carazzo is probably one of the hardest working, but clearly Juddy, one of the best.
And Chris Phelan, we've got a bit of a connection with Subiaco now. We've got Zach played there.
He did.
Joshy DeLuca, obviously at boxing with yourself and Fez. To come back and play in a flag with him, him come over and playing a flag with him must have been pretty special. And geez, he's an absolute superstar. And I couldn't wait to see him we can't wait to see him run around the Premier Division because that's going to suit him to an absolute T, I reckon.
Yeah, it will. And I think sort of one of my regrets in the end, well, not regret, I just didn't get a chance to play in a Waffle Premiership and a Waffle Premiership with him. He won 4 when sort of after I left, which was, I sort of look back now and that's pretty special for him, and I've always been a Subiaco nuffy, watching all the Waffle Grand Finals and going back when I can. But yeah, really special. He's been a great mate for a long time, and for him and his partner to move over, and they're really settled here, and it's great to sort of be a lot closer.
I was happy when he rang and said he bought a house here. That's for sure.
Yeah,
He always worry about that. And that's when
great timing too. Just
when
walked
Whitey
over.
always rings me and says he's going back home for an obvious reason, I said, don't fall in love.
Exactly.
Yeah. But Whitey, thank you very much for coming and speaking to us. I told you a few times after beers I made 2 good decisions in my life. Marrying Alex and getting you to Donny East Footy Club, and I'm going to assure you that's been absolutely awesome. You're a gun footy player, but honestly one of the best, most humble blokes I've ever met. Doesn't matter if you've played seconds, first, you played AFL, you treat everyone the same as supporters, sponsors. We are very lucky to have you, and can't wait to see you run around in Premier Division, which we spoke about when I spoke to you. Firstly, to get us there, and you've helped us do that, so thank you very much, mate.
Oh, fist bump on the way.
Great stuff.
Thank you guys. Love the podcast. Great stuff.
And single ladies.
Well, so far so good. Episode 2 of Pride of the East, and I tell you what, we love talking to the skipper of the Doncaster East Football Club in Simon White, but now we've got a past player, another dual best and fairest winner down here at the Den, but also an important part of the football club and the makeup as its future soars into Premier Division. And we've got one of the favourite sons with us tonight in Jared Lucas. Welcome to Pride of the East, mate.
Thank you for having me, Ben. Thank you, Pete.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Mate, Pete's going to talk about your career, but also you've got a major sponsorship with the football club, as we can see there up on the board behind. I hope we've got it on camera. We definitely do, in Corporate Fit Out Solutions. So we'll be able to delve a little bit more into that coming up. But thank you so much for sponsoring the football club and doing what you do to get this club into Premier Division.
No, it's more than happy to do it. Started off doing it basically to try and give a bit back from what I took out a long time ago, and just happy to basically help out and get some young boys on the park.
Let's go for a trip down memory lane, shall we?
So, Jazz, my memory would serve me correctly. You started about 2001 here?
2000.
2000, then went overseas 2001.
2001 went overseas.
So you had 1 year, and then...
1 year, yeah.
And then... did you win the best and fairest 2000?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Billy McCormack.
That's right. Then 2001 went overseas with Moller.
With Moller, yes.
Give us a quick rundown. European holiday?
Hard to remember most of it. It's a pretty...
Kentucky's and all them things and such?
No, Kentucky. We just winged it, basically.
Okay. Carved it up wherever you went.
Liked the place, stayed there, didn't like it, we moved on. So, we're pretty busy there for a long time. It was good fun, though. Yeah.
2002, we come back. we're underdogs, but we make a grand final. Emil Parthenides, Michael Vincent that year come to the footy club. So I like to hear about Emil and Michael Vincent because I reckon they're two of the funniest blokes I've ever met. How are they to play with? Emil's very underrated as a character off field, I reckon.
Yeah, very funny boy. Yeah, Vinny. Haven't seen Michael in a long time, but yeah, definitely Emil. Very crazy. Him and his brother Michael as well. They're just a duo, like a comedy act, just right in front of you.
Michael, yes,
and if you had the dad in there as well, yeah, they were very, very funny people. So it was good fun playing with them. Yeah, definitely.
I remember a story about Vinny. We were playing Upper Gully. I think it was my first game, and Paris was giving this big speech, and they were all in the showers, and Vinny goes, "Let's all get naked after this big." But that was just them to a team. Everyone just started laughing. But anyway, and then we're pretty stiff as a club. We lost a few. 2002, were unlucky, and I think we spoke about Murph about 2-3, 2-4, 2-5.
Yeah, we lost a lot of finals by not very many points, so that was heartbreaking. But I think it fueled us for the 2-7. It really made us all want it even more.
And then 2-07, what I loved about Jazz when he played is exactly like he is off field. He was just so always become successful for his size, and that he'd almost play like he's 6 foot. You know, he's not much taller than myself. He wanted your way.
Very kind of you.
Yeah, extremely gutsy. He would play back pocket, go on the midfield, and always have team first. You know. And,
you're saying you were gutsy as well?
No. Complete opposite. no. I'm saying similar height to me, but. Just a really, you knew exactly what you're going to get with Jazz, like Brad Higgins.
One of the first players picked every week.
Would have been, yeah, absolutely. And gave everything to the footy club while he played. And then obviously he's come back for a sponsor. What was your favourite? Obviously 2007 would have been your favourite year.
Yeah, it was a good year. It was a hard year. I think we might have covered it just with Razor. That was pretty full on training wise, but we got the result. It was really enjoyable building up to that, I think, if you look back at it, and even getting into those finals and playing throughout the year when you were the favourite.
Yeah.
And we were really dominating side. It was good fun with Murph and Altheo and Molla. A lot of good players, a lot of good local players.
So much fun off the field.
It was good.
And we had a great,
we had a really good bond. We're still there today. We also speak, and a lot of blokes right into my golf now, play golf together. There's probably 15 blokes from past players and current players which catch up, which is great. It's a great bond. I think the club's always had that, which is something which is always, as soon as I first came in, I sort of got brought down with Adam Molinaro, and just got drawn to the club. There's a really good feeling, and it's never really left. So
I don't think we've ever had. I think if you were too much of when you thought you're better than anyone, they get weeded out pretty quickly. I reckon.
Yeah, but just don't mean too many blokes will come and you're just like, he's not right, but everyone's been great.
A guy like yourself and Molla, they drove that. You know, Jazz and Molla were the two, two of the best players, and they would always be nice to everyone. Never be, think they're better than everyone. I think that created, and you guys started that, created a really good club. Like, I played a lot of seconds footy, but yourself, Murph, and me were really good mates. It didn't matter. Ando, guys like that, were all really close. We had really good bonds through the two sides, both successful sides too. And now, as a sponsor, you're obviously proud to see where the club is.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's been amazing to watch from the sidelines. I think you and I have had a couple of chats about this, but a little bit time poor, so it's probably the best way I can contribute without actually being here. I'd love to get down with the kids when I can and have a kick on the footy on the ground with them, which is great. But look, it's another way you can contribute without putting in the time. So it's a good way to help out.
Let's talk about corporate fit out solutions as well as a business. So what you're doing is you're going into existing office spaces or new office spaces and decking them out in towards probably what the new age working environments are, and moving away from those office-based solutions, closed doors, and opening things up. Is that sort of what you're doing?
Yeah, we build offices. It's as simple as that, and we gut offices as well. So we call them make goods. We're ripping out a whole office when someone's done with it and getting it ready for the next tenant to come in. So there's two parts of the business. One make good, and one is actually building the fit outs. So it's been really enjoyable.
And Mickey Gafer, the Collingwood,
yes,
Iron Glove. What do they call him?
The human blanket.
The human blanket. The Iron Glove. What the hell's Iron Glove? The human blanket.
So he started the business probably 20 years ago, and I was lucky enough just to meet him. We've stayed in contact sort of ever since, and not long after that, he sort of asked if I'd be interested in working for him, which I was, and took on a job. I was a carpenter, yep, and asked me to come and run his sites, which I did and absolutely loved. I loved working with him. Fantastic work ethic, fantastic morals. Basically, really, really hard worker, and it's just great to sponge off him for the last 20 years, which has been amazing. And he's taken me along for the ride, which has been great.
Have you redone any major businesses or any buildings that we know about around the traps?
We just finished Metro Trains fit outs.
Okay.
Lots of listed companies you might have heard of, McConnell Dowell, lots of different companies.
If just say Walsh and Whitelock needed a fit out, would you do a small job like that?
Of course, If someone wanted a door put in, we'd do it. Never say no to anything.
That's
what
I thought.
There's smaller companies who need little fit outs, and you never know where they're going to get to. So you say yes to everything, and
Oh, good. And we'll go back to footy now. Who's the best player you played with?
That's a good question. There's a fella sitting over the back there, Ben Holmes, who's going to come up next. He was pretty handy. I'm glad I'm going on before him, so I was a bit concerned about him talking about his 7-goal hauls and me having to talk about my 1-goal hauls. But probably Lee Murphy, if I had to pinpoint anyone. Got the ball heaps, great skills, kick goals. Someone had to tag him every week, and
hard to go past that.
he's a very good player.
Coaches? Because you always had your own opinion, and you would never sit down. You'd always say.
I submit I enjoyed them all for different reasons. Loved Billy McCormack as a personality. Loved Razor for what he got our side to achieve.
You enjoyed carrying the bricks, did you?
Oh, not really. Probably could have done without that. And appreciated Paris Harvey as well. More so even in hindsight, looking back tactically. I think I enjoyed them all.
Because Paz got us from...
Chase Hardwick, I'll put in there. All good. So really,
because Paz got us from a pretty mediocre
he
side.
Really did, He sort of set it
so
up.
Many standards and all that coming from a higher division.
So definitely appreciate what he did for us, that's for sure,
And playing golf now, off field, what are you playing off?
I'm off 9 at the moment.
Not bad.
Rosanna, give them a
Rosanna, yes. I'm addicted to it.
And Murph's given up, you say?
I've heard Murph's, I've heard that, which is a bit of a shame. We'll have to get him back. But play with a few of the young boys now that are still not young anymore, but Lukey McLeod and Jared Lowther, Timmy Whitty.
Well, they're all playing down at Rosanna.
Batsy, they're all down at Rosanna. Batsy's not, but most of them are. So we all try and catch up on a golf trip together, which is great. So it's really good, probably going back to this club culture. We've got sort of us older guys, and we've sort of combined the two sort of decades or eras. And it's great to have that connection, which has been good. And we had it with the guys up, Ash O'Neill and Paul Roos and those sorts of guys, which was awesome. And Glenn Bird as well.
Yeah. So, Jazz, we really appreciate what you've done for this club on field and now off field, which is, when I've spoken to you, Jazz come up to me and said, Pete, I want to give the club some sponsorship because I don't have the time, as he spoke about. A lot of guys don't even think of that. They go to the footy club, they've played there, they walk away. Jazz is always here, always prepared to put money if it's sponsorship. If we're running a raffle, whatever it is, always happy to put the money over the bar, which really appreciate. And as you said, the club probably paid you at one stage, so you have to give a bit back.
Definitely.
But I reckon you've given it back a lot more than they gave you.
I hope so. That's the plan. Yeah,
on and off field, you've been an absolute legend for this footy club, and we don't say that lightly. Honestly.
Likewise to yourself, mate. You guys putting in the time is a lot more than what I can do. So that's amazing what you do for us as well. So.
And whether you need a fit out, you're starting from scratch, or if you need a facelift as well, the place to go is you can see it up on the sign there. Corporate Fit Out Solutions. You'll be looked after by Jazza and Mickey Gayfer, the human blanket.
That's the one.
And they'll sort you out. Get rid of those officers.
I meant the iron fist.
It's a fishbowl world now. Thanks, mate.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Thanks, Pete. Cheers, mate.
Well, and just like that, episode 2 of Pride of the East done and dusted. Absolutely loved it again. Love always being in your company, Peter Sousby and Simon White, the skipper, Jared Lucas, favourite son. Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No, it is. And as you said, it's always nice to speak to guys that have given a lot to the footy club on and off field. Both of them, both dual Best and Fairest winners. Love the footy club they do, so it's great to have people like that. But even better, having a beer with you afterwards and having a chat, always nice.
Oh, we've enjoyed the coffee throughout. Now it's time for the beer. The Brethren's in the club rooms tonight. If you heard anything in the background, that was them throughout the broadcast. But I tell you what, Loved it. We'll be back in a matter of weeks, and we're going to keep this rolling right throughout the year. We might not be playing, but we're going to bring you all those great stories and how everyone's travelling right throughout season 2020, because do you know what? We're premiers and we'll remain premiers for the whole year leading into next year.
That's for
Cheers,
sure.
Pete.
On your Benny.